Raül Romeva, you had a landmark report in 2007 on the phenomenon. This morning, the EAS, which is the European Diplomatic Service, has answered to Rashida Manjoo's presentation, and the representative particularly referred to the forthcoming EU Latin American Summit of Heads of States. However, she was not very concrete on what measures should be taken at that occasion. Could you give us an idea of what you think would be necessary to do there?
I think the more important thing that the external services and the states have to understand is that in order to fight against this phenomenon, it has to be visible. I mean, we have to talk about this. It has to be very high in the agendas of the political and mediatic arenas. And that's what the states, the governments, have to understand in the upcoming summit that is going to take place at the Euro-Latin American dimension. This having said, there are concrete steps that we can undertake. One, gathering information, data, providing means in order to have as much as data that we can in order to provide the political responses that we need to. And in that sense, we need not only the complicity of all actors in the field, but also of as many of international organizations as possible. And we need funds for this, let's be clear. I mean, this costs money, but we need to invest, we need to spend money on this. The second, which is to me very important, prevention. And prevention is not only a question of education, which is absolutely crucial, it's more than this. It's fighting impunity is also a way of prevention. Promoting equality is also a way of prevention. Promoting these elements that has to do in order to guarantee the fair trials is also prevention. All this is prevention. If we want to impede these phenomena to occur, we have to invest in information, in fight against impunity, in justice as a fact, and obviously, and that's probably the most important thing, in the structural problems that are provoking that in some contexts this occurs in different manners, but as Rashida said in the beginning, with the same ending, the killing of women. You might differ in context and in different, if you want, internal traditions, but the consequence is exactly the same. And in that sense, if you want to really fight with the consequences of this, you need to understand that the structures, the system is unfair in its roots. And that's what in this action plan should be addressed. If you have places where poverty is basically affecting women, you need to address this. Poverty as a cause of many problems and having as one of the consequences the direct killing of many women. You need to very directly address everything that has to do with these perceptions of or this cultural relativism, saying that in many countries, well, this is a tradition to treat women like this, to do this or to do that. Is it completely unacceptable that we as societies normalize such practices? This having said, is important also to not believe that this is something that is only happening in some countries, in poor countries and underdeveloped countries. That's a very paternalistic approach, which is completely not true. And it happens in different ways, in different parts of the world, and in different contexts, if you want, but it happens everywhere. And that's what we need to understand as a clear focus in order to fight against this phenomenon, which means that in the Latin American relations, we can address this not necessarily by saying you Mexicans or you Guatemalans, you have to do this, but saying we, as a global and universal communities, we have to address this, everyone on its specificities. But we all, as a community, have to take this in the political dimension and with strict, and you were very clear on this as well, proposals. Paper is very good, is a starting point, is necessary, but it's not enough. If you do not invest money and political will on the fight against this, nothing is going to change.